Right guys, I know it's been a little while since we've done the last video, but unfortunately most of the stuff that I've been doing hasn't really been big enough to stick in a video. So this time it's probably a combination of the last 2 months of everything that we've been doing all rambled into one. Odds and sods, little bits here and there, all tucked up. I'll try and put it in order for you, but if something goes astray, yeah, that's my fault. But yeah, sit back, grab a cup of tea, enjoy the rest.
So we start off with sorting out the steps for either side of the bed, and we're just using a template there that measures off the side of the hull just to get the right angle for the step, trim it down a little bit, and then we cut out the drop-in storage that we'll be putting in later. So that's there as a flip-up storage that we can put a basket in and just have that little bit extra storage in the bedroom. We're going to do both sides, and then we just need to tidy up on the left-hand side of the bed and sort out the step that side because we left a little bit of a gap. So as you can see there, just filling in the gap and tidying it up. Now we're moving on to sorting out the bedside cabinets, just tuck up against the hull wall, and basically it's a kind of a complicated triangle that we're trying to make, basically to fit the shape of the hull. So every time you see me whizzing backwards and forth, that's us just running it back to the bathroom, which is a temporarily cut area, just because it's close by, rather than walking it all the way to the other end of the boat. And here you can see we are putting together the box that's going inside the bedside cabinets. There's going to be a little lip just on the lower edge to stop anything rolling out. With our first box, we did it with just tack nails and some wood glue just to hold it together, and because some of the side of the wood split, we put a clamp on there just to hold it while the glue dried. Now we're just attaching the fascia part to the box and then test fitting it into the area. Now we're just putting a bit of batten down the side and packing it out, just so that the side panel sits flush against the bed. That way it'll allow the mattress to sit in there properly. And I'm just adding some little spacers there with a bit of 9mm and batten just to raise the top bit for when we put the top surface on. So I'm just doing a couple of trims here and there with this just to get it fit, doing the final cut and then gluing it on. And then round to the other side when we start the other one. So same way as we did the last box, although we cut a little wrong angle, so we had to do a little bit of a chop job. It's all square. It was just high enough to cover the fill tube for the fresh water and the air hose for that. And we're just adding, like we did with the other side, the side plate as well as a bit of batten to attach that to keep it fresh with the mattress. A couple of spacers, and then we're just chopping down the top. Now we've got some 15mm brads to do this with the air gun, which made it a lot easier to staple them all together. And staple is a loose term. The wood glue will do most of the holding. Then just putting a little bit of glue around the edge just to seal it, just in case anyone spills a cup of tea later on down the line, it doesn't seep down the back and make a lovely stain. There you go, two units complete there. And then we started on the bathroom. So we started out by measuring and cleaning up the wall, because we had a couple of the CLS batten parts for the horizontals just peeking out a little bit. Even though they were flush the other side, they did still pose a bit of a problem with how much they were protruding. So having a cup of tea, just discussing where we're going to put the toilet and whether or not to box the back of it. Still trying to decide on the units that we're going to stick in the bathroom. And then we're just trying to figure out how we could link up the one pump that we've got for the bathroom with the hot water cylinder drain off, as well as the bath shower and the sink. So now we're just moving a couple boards out of the way, tidying up a little bit, and we're starting on the back wall here with where the bath's going to go, sorting out where the mixer valve is going to go, and adding an access point in the back of the wall. So we thought it'd be a good idea to quickly attach the legs onto the bath, although one of the legs was broken, so I had to go and get another set of those. But we laid out in front of the wall, measured the heights for where the overhead rain shower's going and where the spout's going to go in relation to the bath, so that it's above it and not below it, which would make for an interesting filler. Now we're just adding in a couple of bits to make it so that we can panel that. So putting the pipe in, putting the sound insulation in. We can only do that on the right hand side though, because the left hand side is where the door for our bedroom will slide into. So the only thing we can do there is put an additional bit of 9mm on the back of the CLS, so that when we cut the panel for it, it can attach to something. You can see here, just putting up the first right wall, cutting and trimming the left wall. Okay, and finishing off the bottom right corner. I had to set up a couple of temp lights there, just so that later on that day we had somewhere or somehow being able to see what we were doing, because we were running a couple of bits and pieces, just tidying up with the centre column. Measuring and trimming the top panel to the ceiling, just putting a couple of extra light spots in for that one for the airing cupboard. We hadn't initially planned on having an extra light in the airing cupboard, but it fitting stuff and etc., it does make it a lot easier. And that's that finished wall with the ceiling panel up. And that's the back in what will be the wardrobe, which will allow us to access the pipes if we ever need to, if something's to leak, without having to rip off all of the fascia part of the bathroom. So now we're doing some measuring up just to sort out the last bit of the wall for the corridor. And we're putting up an extra bit of batten to run along the edge, because the initial thought was to put the panel all the way across, but we needed some extra supports for the top of the CLS, so we needed to pop those in, which meant that we couldn't run the panel directly through, and thus having to cut that second panel down. So we're putting in the batten just to act as a secondary screw point or nail point for the 5.5 hardwood to attach to, and we'll be drilling some holes in that with a 54mm hole saw just to put the lights in. Most LED lights will tell you what hole saw size you need. Some of them are a bit of an obscure one, which you might need to buy separately from a pack. Now we're just cutting the internal ceiling panel, which will have one light in it. A little trim down for the corner. And now we're just measuring out the other side where the sink and everything else is going. I decided to move the razor point over just to the right a bit so that we can actually fit the sink in the middle of that side unit. So just dry cutting some boards just to make the fit, both sides, left and right, and then we'll be putting some sound insulation in there as well, because the other side of that would be kids room number 1. So there's the sound insulation going in. I know, God, don't work fast. The joys of time lapse. And then friend Tony has come over to do the door jamb for us while we were working on the bathroom, just to finish off that edging part. He's also doing the pull-out drawers for underneath the kids' bedroom, which is going underneath the bunk bed. Very made to measure fitting there, and it is very tidy.
And thanks for coming back and watching. Hopefully there'll be one next week. I'm not promising anything because I start a new job on Monday, so I have to see how that goes as to how much energy I've got left at the end of the week. But yeah, see you later.